There's something you don't want to say out loud, but deep down, you feel it. You're losing control. And the most dangerous part, you don't even realize it's happening. It creeps in quietly, subtly, invisibly. It's a silent, addictive, progressive epidemic, and you're not immune. None of us are. It doesn't come with warning signs or loud alarms. It shows up in pixels and flashing images, hiding behind a screen. It disguises itself as entertainment, as something everyone does. A little escape, a harmless habit, but the truth? It's not harmless. It's shaping you, warping you, and it's happening right now whether you admit it or not. And no, this isn't about morals or religion. This is psychology, straight, unfiltered, psychological reality. If you want to understand what's going on, you have to go where most people don't want to look, into the unconscious, that hidden part of you that controls everything, while you pretend you're the one in charge. That's where the shadow lives. What Carl Jung called the shadow, the parts of yourself you hide, repress, deny, the parts you don't even dare to acknowledge in the mirror. And pornography? Porn doesn't just awaken that shadow, it feeds it, strengthens it, trains it, until that hidden part of you becomes a full-blown monster, smiling while you tell yourself you're in control. Let's get brutally honest here. Every time you watch porn, you're not just watching, you're programming your mind, you're shaping your desires, you're rewiring your brain to crave instant gratification, to expect pleasure without effort, intimacy without connection, satisfaction without reality. And here's the problem. Real life doesn't work like that. You know it. You feel it. That's why you're frustrated. That's why your energy is scattered, your willpower weaker, your attention slipping away. That's why it's harder to concentrate, harder to stay motivated, harder to be fully present. That low-key guilt, that's not random. That's the truth surfacing. Because you are hiding something. You're hiding from yourself. Jung said it clearly, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. That quote hits deep because it explains everything. You don't just lack motivation, it's not just about discipline. The issue goes much deeper. It lives in that silent corner of your life, the one you visit in secret when no one's around, when the lights are low and the screen glows back at you. That corner is where you give up your power, where you trade pieces of your soul for illusions, for high-definition lies, for dopamine rushes that leave you hollow. Because when you get used to a reward that requires no effort, what's left to fight for? Why pursue real connection, real growth, real intimacy, when you can get a cheap thrill in a few clicks? That's the poison, not just in what you see, but in what you stop wanting. Porn doesn't just twist your view of sex, it twists your view of effort, of love, of life itself. It pulls you away from what truly matters. And the most twisted part of it all? It convinces you that nothing's wrong, that you're fine, that you're just being human, but you're not free. You're trapped. Every click, every scroll, every session strengthens the circuits in your brain that scream, this is pleasure, this is escape, this is control. And then one day, you wake up and realize you're not choosing anymore. You're reacting, you're repeating. You're not alone in this. Millions of men and women, maybe some of your closest friends, maybe people you look up to, are living a double life. The one they show the world, and the one that eats them alive inside. That secret life, that shame, that sense of being disconnected, weak, fractured. And it all started the same way. A glance, a click, an innocent moment of curiosity. A just this once that quietly became every day. Porn is a factory of dissociation. It disconnects your body from your soul, your desire from your emotions, your pleasure from your presence. And in the end, you're left with an empty screen in a gnawing void. Jung talked about the animus and anima, the masculine and feminine energies within us all, the sacred balance between doing and feeling, logic and emotion, action and intuition. Porn shatters that balance. It pulls you out of your integrated self and into your shadow, into the primal, the unconscious, the animal. Have you ever noticed how everything feels duller after watching porn? Like your energy drops, your mood dips, your confidence takes a hit. That's not coincidence. That's your soul crying out. That's your inner self asking to be seen again. And yeah, you can pretend. You can smile, post selfies, go to the gym, tell yourself you're crushing it. But your body knows. Your mind records. Your unconscious remembers. And your shadow laughs. Let me tell you something you're probably not going to hear anywhere else. You don't need to quit porn because it's wrong. You need to quit because it's stealing your power. It's taking away your ability to desire something real, to fight for something meaningful, to burn with purpose. It's dulling your eyes, numbing your fire, draining your intensity. Every orgasm to an image is a dopamine hit with no return. You're exchanging meaning for emptiness. And the more you consume, the less you feel. That's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Real sex doesn't hit the same anymore, does it? Real connection doesn't excite you like it used to. Your mind fills with scenes you never lived, images you never chose, because that's what you've trained it to respond to. And that's the trap. The more you feed it, the more it demands. And the more it demands, the less it satisfies. Until one day, you're chasing something and you don't even know what it is anymore. That's where you get lost. Jung said the process of individuation, becoming who you really are, requires turning inward, facing the demons, integrating the shadow, owning your full self. But you, right now, you're running from that journey, using porn as a distraction, a crutch, a cage that looks like freedom. So here's the question no one else is going to ask you. Who would you be without this addiction? Who would you be if you stopped stealing pleasure from images that offer nothing back? What could you create if your desire returned to you? What kind of love could you experience? What kind of life could you build? Because porn isn't just an addiction, it's a form of exile, an escape from your true self. And society tells you it's fine, that it's normal, that it's healthy. But quietly, behind closed doors, people are falling, their confidence collapsing, their relationships empty, their spirit fragmented. And the most heartbreaking part? They call it freedom. But there's no freedom if you can't choose. And if you can't go a week without going back to that screen, you're not choosing. You're being pulled, programmed, owned. Jung said, what you don't make conscious becomes your destiny. And if you don't wake up, your future will be more of the same. More numbness, more passivity, more emotional impotence. But there's another way, a harder way, a more painful, more honest, more transformative path. And it starts by facing what you've avoided for too long. So let's keep going, because this is where things get real. If you've made it this far, you already know. This isn't just about porn, it's about your soul, your fire, your aliveness. And yes, it hurts, because seeing the truth, really seeing it, always does. It means removing the layers, the masks, the rationalizations you've built up over time to protect yourself from one brutal fact. You've been giving away your power. Not in huge, dramatic ways, not with some big collapse, but in tiny moments, in quiet betrayals, in every time you choose comfort over growth, a screen over presence, a high over depth. And that's exactly how this works. That's how the addiction hides. It sells itself as harmless, as temporary, but it grows silently, steadily, relentlessly, until one day you realize you don't remember what it's like to truly feel anymore. That's the real cost. Not the time you waste, not the energy, but the connection you lose with yourself, with others, with reality. Porn is the perfect trap for the modern mind. It promises intimacy while delivering isolation. It offers pleasure but drains your ability to experience real pleasure. And the scariest part? You adapt to it. You start thinking this low level of aliveness is just normal. But it's not normal. Normal is waking up with drive, with hunger, with clarity, with purpose. Normal is having enough energy to build, to love, to fight for something real. Normal is being present, not just existing, but living. But you can't do any of that if your nervous system is fried from constant artificial stimulation. If your dopamine is hijacked, if your fire is being funneled into pixels that give you nothing back. And here's what almost no one talks about. Sexual energy is creative power. It's not just about sex. It's your life force, your drive, your capacity to imagine, to build, to lead, to move the world forward. Every time you give it away to something that doesn't nourish you, you're pouring fuel into a black hole, and it doesn't come back. Have you noticed how your voice sounds flatter after watching porn? How your decisions get cloudier? How your posture, your confidence, your ability to look someone in the eyes, all of it subtly weakens? It's not in your head. That's your energy, your essence, draining away. And the most dangerous part? You get used to it. You start operating at half capacity. You go through the motions. You function, but you don't thrive. You're alive, but you're not really living. That's not how it's supposed to be. The people who build empires, write masterpieces, lead revolutions, they all have one thing in common. They learned how to channel their energy, not waste it. They knew how to transform that fire, not numb it. That's what we're talking about here. Transformation, not suppression, not guilt, not shame, just raw, honest redirection of your energy towards something that actually matters. Jung said, "What you do not bring into consciousness appears in your life as fate." And right now, this addiction is shaping your fate. Not because you're weak, not because you're broken, but because the system is designed to keep you asleep, to keep you consuming, to keep you disconnected from yourself, from others, from your deepest potential. You don't have to stay there, but you do have to make a decision, a real one. Not the kind where you say, "I'll stop tomorrow," while keeping 10 tabs open. I mean the kind of decision that rewires your future, that changes the trajectory of your life. Because porn doesn't just affect how you live, it affects how you love. It changes how you see other people, how you experience connection, how you give and receive intimacy. It turns human beings into body parts, souls into functions, moments into performances. And eventually, even if you're in a real relationship, you start seeing people as objects to be consumed, not partners to be felt, honored, or connected with. It's not just about desire, it's about dehumanization. Have you noticed how your idea of intimacy has shifted? How you expect things to look a certain way, to follow a certain script? How you feel disconnected during real moments because your mind is chasing extreme, artificial stimulation? That's what happens when your emotional blueprint is shaped by porn. You forget how to feel. You forget how to hold silence, how to be vulnerable, how to receive someone else fully, not just physically, but emotionally. And if you don't know how to feel, you don't know how to love. Not really. And when you can't love, you'll keep cycling through empty connections, fast, shallow, and broken before they even begin. Porn gives you the illusion of pleasure, but it steals the foundation of real joy. The quick kills depth. The easy destroys what's valuable. The immediate erases the profound. But it doesn't stop there. It's not just your relationships. Porn changes how you view power. It plants a subtle belief that power means domination. That satisfaction comes from control. That your experience is what matters most. And that seeps into everything. How you work, how you relate, how you move through the world. You may not notice it at first, but slowly your ego inflates and your soul shrinks. You become more reactive, less empathetic, more centered on getting rather than giving. It disconnects you not just from others, but from your own depth. That's not freedom. That's ego masquerading as identity. Carl Jung would not have seen porn as just a bad habit. He'd have seen it as a symbol, a symptom, a reflection of something deeper going on. A society that's lost its ability to face itself, to hold tension, to honor desire without needing to immediately resolve it. Because desire isn't the enemy. Desire is a compass. It tells you what direction your soul wants to go. It pulls you toward creation, growth, union. But if you hijack it for empty, instant rewards, you lose that guidance. You lose that fire. You go blind. And yes, let's be clear, recovering from this isn't about repression. Repression is just another form of avoidance. Another way to disconnect. The real path is transformation. It's what Jung called sublimation. Taking raw instinct, raw desire, and channeling it upward into something meaningful, something beautiful, something alive. That's how you change. Not by cutting off the energy, but by raising it. Sublimation is the secret behind so many of the world's greatest works of art, movements, inventions. Those people didn't kill their desire. They transformed it. You can do that too. You can take the energy you've been spilling into dead pixels and pour it into your body, your craft, your mission, your relationships. You can desire again, not just to consume, but to create. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. You'll feel the anxiety, the restlessness, the withdrawal. That's the detox. That's the fire you have to walk through. That's where the transformation happens. But you're not broken, you're just unfocused. And porn is the noise keeping you from hearing your own soul. Turn off the noise, and suddenly the voice inside you returns. The one that whispers, "There's more to you than this." You don't have to settle for autopilot. You don't have to keep living disconnected, disoriented, numb. You can wake up. You can come back to yourself. But first, you have to stop running. You have to face what's chasing you. And when you do, when you stop and look straight into your own shadow, that's where freedom begins. That's where real life starts. So now we're here. This is the moment that matters. If you follow this all the way through, then there's a part of you that's ready, maybe not fully confident, maybe not sure what to do next, but ready. Ready to change. Ready to reclaim something you didn't even realize you'd lost. Let's talk about that part. Because inside you, beneath all the conditioning, all the noise, all the years of habits and hiding, something is still alive. It's quiet, but it hasn't died. That's the part that brought you here. The part that knows. And now comes the crossroads. Two paths. The first path is easy. Just close this video, open another tab, go back to scrolling. Pretend none of this stirred anything. Convince yourself that this wasn't about you, that there's no inner war, that everything's fine. But deep down, you know that's a lie. The second path, that's the hard one. The one that demands honesty, the one that requires you to look at yourself unfiltered. No distractions, no numbing. Just you, raw and real, choosing to rebuild from the inside out. That's the path of transformation. And here's the crazy part. You don't need to have it all figured out to start. You don't need a perfect plan or a 30-day challenge. You just need one thing, a decision. Just one. To say, I'm done giving my energy to something that drains me. To say, I'm done letting this addiction define me. To say, I choose presence, I choose growth, I choose life. That decision doesn't mean you won't fall. You will. You'll mess up. You'll relapse. You'll feel like giving in. But that's not what matters. What matters is this. You fall differently now. You fall with awareness. You fall knowing the truth. You fall and you get back up closer to yourself, not further away. And yeah, the world won't make this easy. The algorithm won't stop tempting you. Screens will keep offering escapes. Society will keep whispering, relax, it's normal. But you know better now. You feel what it costs you. And the truth is, an awake man doesn't live the same way. He doesn't consume the same way. He doesn't obey the same way. He's not easy to manipulate. And that makes him dangerous. So be that. Be the anomaly in the system, the one who says no, the one who transforms his fire instead of wasting it, the one who's not ashamed of his shadow, but has faced it, integrated it, reclaimed it. That's real power. And here's something you need to remember. You're not alone. Even if it feels like no one gets it, even if you're surrounded by people who are still asleep, even if everyone around you seems fine with mediocrity and escape, there are others walking this path, quietly, silently, intentionally. Men and women breaking chains, waking up, choosing presence over comfort. They don't post about it. They don't get applause, but they're there. And you're one of them now. And this isn't just about quitting porn. It's about rebirth. Not a slight improvement, not a tiny tweak to your routine, but a full-on death of the false self, the version of you numbed out by addiction, disconnected from purpose, sedated by stimulation. Rebirth is rising from within, rebuilding your foundation, realigning with what matters, coming back to your own soul. So if this has resonated, if any part of this has hit you deep, comment one word below: rebirth. No explanation, no hashtags. Just that. Those who know will know. It's how we recognize each other. It's how we say, I'm waking up too. And if you want more content like this, subscribe. Not for the algorithm, not for vanity metrics. Subscribe if you're willing to break, willing to face yourself, willing to rebuild something more real, more grounded, more powerful. We're not here to entertain. We're here to ignite something, to shake you awake, to remind you the fire hasn't gone out, it's just buried. And now, before I end this, I'll leave you with one final question. Don't answer it for me. Answer it for you. Quietly, honestly. What would you do tomorrow if you reclaimed all the power you've lost to the shadows? Really think about it, because the next time that impulse shows up, the next time you're tempted to go back to the screen, remember, it's not pleasure you're looking for. It's to feel alive again, and you still can. See you in the silence, where the ones who are waking up now live.